Power Lunch. Good afternoon. My name is Neil, and today we are going to do a reaction video to a news story I found on YouTube called Too Many GAIJIN. Too many GAIJIN. God damn those GAIJIN, they're everywhere. I'm telling you. So this is kind of the mood amongst the media. English-speaking media in Japan is pretty liberal media. So let's see what they're saying, and we'll react to this a little bit.
I recently started to teach soccer to college boys and girls who just got the right to vote. So I've been having a lot of political conversation with people in those age group for these 5 months. And I noticed this is what they often say emotionally, which doesn't seem to make sense though, as the foreign population only accounts for 3% in this country.
Yeah. Okay. This is the key point. The foreigners in Japan account for about 3%, I think maybe it's actually 3.8% now of the population of Japan. This guy who's doing this story, his English is a little difficult to hear. But he's saying he works with like Gen Z, young Japanese people, and he's been speaking with them, and he's getting their opinions on their feelings about foreigners in Japan.
I've personally noticed, I think it's an overreaction.
I think she's just overreacting because it's not like foreign people are overtaking Japan.
About 3%. So if you think that 3% is dominating the rest of the 97 Japanese population, I don't think that's a very fair judgment.
Okay. Overreaction, everybody. You're overreacting. It's only 3%. He has a point. The problem is, I think what happens in Japan is that some foreigners, not all, but there are some foreigners, one foreigner can be equal to 3 to 5 Japanese people. What does that mean? What does that mean? In let's say verbal power or just presence. You know, every person has a presence. In general, the Japanese culture teaches you to be very reserved, quiet, polite, nice, working with the group, being part of society, not causing trouble. Not all foreigners, but some foreigners. For example, Americans, you could stereotype them as loud and boisterous, very individual. I'm doing my own thing. I want to stand in line over here. And they can be really annoying. So even one can have the effect of 10. So in that case, 3% could be 30%. Holy shit, I've discovered something.
Foreign residents also claims that it's definitely not too many compared to other countries, and most of them follow the laws, sometimes more than Japanese people, because they
don't. Foreigners follow the laws more than Japanese people. Yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, I still feel like a guest after 30 plus years in Japan. I'm always reminded of that fact, and I keep it in my mind, and I try to be extra nice. Like when you're at somebody's house for dinner. If you're going to someone's house for dinner, you're gonna try to be a little nicer. It's good.
Don't risk getting deported, and they surely contribute in many ways. But from Gen Z's perspective right now, they might not see that way, and this could be one of the reasons why they say we have too many foreigners. Actually,
okay, Gen Z. The old Gen Z, it's a global issue, right? The young people. Are they entitled? Are these Gen Zers super entitled? We could have a little issue with that here.
Some of the universities in Tokyo are already dominated by foreign students.
なんか留学生とかなんていうんだろう、優先されるんじゃなくて、みんなが平等の方がいいかなって思います。
Okay, so I think a lot of people, especially around the world, saw, oh, Japan is going to the far right. Oh, Sansei Party, so dangerous. You're getting this image. The main thing, one of the big news stories here was foreign students having a large advantage when entering Japanese universities. And that's what this girl is saying here. It should be fair, it should be equal. There shouldn't be special advantages for foreign students.
So I talk to point out two major issues. This is especially true in a high-ranking university or college, and this could be reducing the quality of Japanese college or discouraging Japanese people from entering there.
少子化になってきていて、大学ももう生き残るのに本当に大変だと思うんですよね。やっぱり留学生を入れないと定員に達しないというような。
Yeah, this is a big problem. And I've seen this locally at universities and schools here. The declining population means there are, well, I don't want to say too many schools, but the schools have to really fight to get students. The schools really, really have to work extra hard to get students. So if there's an opportunity to bring in foreign students who will pay for their education, or there's government provided support money to bring in foreign students, they will take it. They will do anything because the schools are trying to survive just like any other business.
なことが正直ある。私も実際にいろいろな大学で講義をさせていただくこと結構あるんですけど、やっぱり外国の学生で全然日本語がわからない学生ってやっぱいるんですよね。で、日本の大学の機関としてはいかがなものかと思いますし、もちろん大学に行きたいけど、留学生がたくさん入ってしまったがために落ちてしまった学生からすると、そういうような気持ちはわかりますね。
Well, yeah. So Japanese students feel like they're getting squeezed out because foreigners are taking their places. This is talking about especially like high-end education in Japan. Some of the bigger, more famous, globally recognized universities or colleges. But on the other side, hey, it's a big world. And if you're not going to be able to compete and beat those other foreign students, at least on the mental intelligence level, then there's another problem here. So there's kind of two sides to that coin.
外国の学生がたくさん今入ってきている中で、この日本人ファーストっていう意味もわからなくはないなと。
Half of them struggle to make ends meet, as their student debts only keep growing. So I see many of them find this totally unfair. But she emphasized that's not the only reason they grow resentment.
なんかその日本の文化が好きだとか、日本のこれを研究したいんだとかではないところがコスパがいいから来たんだよとか、やっぱそう。
Oh yeah, cost performance. Kospa. It's a great Japanese English word phrase. A lot of foreign students apparently are coming to Japan just because of the low cost, like good education, decent education, safe country, standard of living very high. And, someone's going to give me money to go to university in Japan? Sure. If it was for they wanted to study something about Japan, or they wanted to do research that was specific to Japan, or they wanted to get involved with the culture, I think the locals would be far more understanding. So that point I do understand.
そういうところが我々には非常に馴染みがないところなので、あんまりいい印象ではなくなってしまうので、コスパがいいって思われている時点で、この日本の政策ずれてるってことに気づかないといけないと思いますね。
Oh yes, thank you. Great point. Hakushu. I'm going to give her a round of applause because that's the whole point. If you look, if Japan just becomes or has become a place where kospa, the cost performance value is very high. And that could be said for the education. It could be said for the tourism. It could be said for all kinds of things. And it already is being said, and it's true. Now, especially with the yen being so weak, 140, 150 yen to the dollar, if you're coming from a foreign country, it's going to be extra cheap due to the exchange rate. And then you're getting an incredible product. Japan is like it's like you go to a store and there's like a sale, there's like a bargain table and there's all this stuff. And you're like, okay, let's have a look. And you look and it's like amazing. It's clean. The box is nice. It's a perfect product. It should be like double or triple the price, but it's like super cheap. That's Japan right now. Whether it's the cleanliness of the cities, you know, the niceness of the people, whatever it is, it's like great cost performance. This is something that really needs to be looked at. I agree with her totally.
As you know, nationwidely, foreigner issues became a huge concern this year.
So we are seeing a huge influx of foreign nationals. Their presence has grown too big to ignore.
That might be especially true among Gen Z, in a sense that they are the ones who are most affected by social media, where they see those words are constantly associated to foreigners. And
Oh, social media. I told you. It's that goddamn social media. Yeah, it is true. The young people, that's all they do. I mean, that's all I do. I think everybody now, it's not just young people, but I still remember a time when there was no phone and we absorbed media in a different way. The Gen Z generation, they started on the phone with the social media. Crime, illegal, scary, unsafe, privileged. They're getting all these key words and hearing all these words relating to foreigners. And I can see how that can create a very bad image.
constantly watch a clip like this.
治安がいいっていうのがすごい売りなんですよ。やっぱりキープするには外国人入れちゃダメです。やっぱり外国人が来ると乱れます。
We actually have no evidence that foreigners.
So this guy who was just speaking was from a Japanese political party called Nihon Hosto. Now, that party, I'm kind of suspicious of that party. Japan has so many political parties, and it's hard to really follow and understand it all. But the Nihon Hosto kind of came up recently, and it has a rather inorganic feel to it. It feels like someone has put together a political party that specifically acts extremely far right. He's saying right there, we got to keep foreigners out of Japan. When foreigners come in, Japan gets ruined. Like, you know, extremely strong statements that actually have a way of making the entire conservative Japanese movement look really bad. And I think that's what Nihon Hosto's whole purpose is to really make centrist or slightly more right-leaning groups and thoughts look terrible by taking it way too far.
Cause higher crime rate, statistically speaking. And similarly, this is not true either, at least on nationwide level, because most foreign residents are employed, which means automatically taxes are deducted from their salaries, just like Japanese workers. But many politicians or candidates perpetuate those rumors, and Gen Z might be heavily affected.
外国の人の文化は違うから、これ以上日本にはやっぱり入れちゃダメって言ってるんですよ。夜うるさい音出すのも違うし、ゴミ出しのルールも違うし。
ゴミ出しのルールも違うし。I find that funny. I always find that funny. Like, oh, these foreigners, they're ruining Japan. It's so terrible. What do? Well, they put the garbage out on the wrong day. That's it. We've got to get rid of them. It's so cute. It's so funny. It's like, I think we can fix that. I think we can fix the garbage problem. It's not such a huge problem. We can handle this. We can teach the gaijins how to put out the garbage. I mean, and this is Nihon Hosto. This is like the super far right leaning, you know, get the gaijins out of the country. Why? Because they put the garbage out wrong. Whoa! That one just kills me, man. It's so funny. It's cute.
そういう人たちとこの日本で共生するっていうのはやっぱりやめない。
結構その SNS で政治とか選挙に関心を持つきっかけになったことはこれは間違いない。ただ割とデマみたいなことも 実際は全然そんなことないんだけれども、外国の方の方が優遇されてるみたいな。
And when I talk to them in a college, I notice they often bring this up, and they argue that this indicates most foreign residents now willing to commit to the country or culture, so likely to break our norms. And maybe that's why I see many of them seem to believe this rumor on social media, with no actual evidence or data backed up.
Well, yeah, I think the situation in the social media, like saying, another big one was there's a lot of foreigners who come to Japan, get in the medical insurance system because it's so good, and they'll do like operations, they'll get dental work, they'll do a lot of medical stuff, and then they'll leave, or they just won't pay their insurance. I think there's a lot of truth to this, actually, because Japan is incredibly lax. They just send you a bill for your medical insurance costs. They just send it to you, and they're like, please pay. And it's like, you could be late, you could be months late, you could be 6 months late, and you can still be going to the hospital and getting treatments. You know, there's a lot of things like that. If you got strict, you would make people pay the premiums, the insurance cost up front or in advance, pay each month in advance, or, you know, there's ways to handle that, but it's an honor system in Japan for so many things, which is great. And it's a wonderful, wonderful part of Japan, but it's easy to have it taken advantage of by a small number of people. Most foreigners do not do that. But there are a small number of people who are taking advantage of the insurance and the medical system here. But it gets blown out of proportion on social media, and it becomes a big talking point. I do understand.
治安が悪くなってるどうこうっていうより、まあちょっとなってる可能性が高いですよね。向こうの国ではなんか常識だと思うことを、でも日本では全然常識じゃないじゃないですか。結果的になんかそういうちょっと問題とかも起きるし、全員が全員そういうわけじゃないけど、日本人はなんか優しいし、なんか礼儀正しいし大丈夫だろうみたいな、ちょっとそういうのがあるから、なんか外国人には
Exactly. So he's saying exactly what I said. You know,礼儀正しい. Everyone's so nice and polite that it's easy to take advantage of that. That's why I'm saying all Japanese youth must learn martial arts. If all Japanese people were at least brown belt or purple belt, is that right? At least like a purple belt in karate, just like everyone walking down the street, people would stop fucking around with shit. Okay, if you knew that you came here and you could get your ass kicked by some little kid at any moment, you would like not screw around so much. And I think this is a great idea. I'm going with this. All Japanese people must learn karate, purple belt and above. Hey man, I'm going to Japan. Ooh, you gotta be careful over there. Why? Dude, they'll kick your ass. They all know karate. Really? Yeah, it's a new thing. They're all learning karate in the schools. No way. Yeah, man, like if you like steal an onigiri from 7-Eleven, some little kid will come out and kick you in the balls, man. Oh, damn, I'll be careful. Thanks for that advice.
全然ちょっと日本のルールを守ってもらってみたいな。
外国人の方に。
Yeah. 日本のルールを守ってもらって。We need you to follow Japanese rules. That's why we're all learning karate, and we'll kick your fucking ass if you don't. That's what you need. Come on.
聞くと、なんかオーバーリアクトしてる。3% ぐらいしかいないのに騒ぎ立てることじゃないんじゃないかみたいな。
でもなんか東京とかに行ったりすると外国人ばっかかなって感じはします。前にWell,
yeah, that's okay. If you go to Tokyo, it feels like it's all gaijin. Yeah, I had the same feeling. I went to Tokyo, Shibuya, Hachiko, the famous crossing that, you know, everyone takes a photo of. And I was like, holy crap, it's all foreigners. When everyone crossed the street, Hachiko is like this multi-angle crossing, and it's like this big mix in the middle. 80% of the people crossing the road had their phone in their hand, and they were like holding it up like this, walking across the street, like getting the video. I'm walking across Shibuya, Hachiko, wow! And I was like, oh man, this is annoying. This is too much. But that's not too many gaijins. That's just over tourism, right? They need to separate that out a little bit.
お店で見たのは、なんか店員さんが英語で対応してたんですけど、でもそんなにうまく伝わってなくて、で、なんか外国人の方がなんかあんまり英語うまくないみたいな文句を言ってるのは聞いたことありました。なんか、例えば列に並ばなきゃいけなかった時に、なんか横入りする、やっぱり日本の文化を知っていく必要があると思います。
See? Again, the foreigners are cutting in the line, getting ahead of us. They need to learn the Japanese culture. No! They need a karate punch. Boom, boom! Problem solved. Get in line. Hey man, I'm going to Japan. Really? Don't cut in line. They'll kick you in the nuts if you cut in line.
See them like promoting Japanese people to learn English, and then we should level up. But like, I'm even afraid of someday Japanese becoming like a dead language. I don't want that. This is our land. They should definitely adjust to it. They don't have to change who they are. But I think there are certain things, like let's say if they are like playing really loud music at night, they should stop it.
Right now, I think there's a very large gap between what foreign residents know, what foreign residents do, and how Japanese society reacts. For example, foreign residents that move to America must speak English. But in Japan, there's this common perception among foreigners that you can move to Japan without speaking Japanese. I think it causes a lot of frustration and misunderstanding among local populations.
For example,
Totally. And this is understandable. So a word to the gaijin out there. Beside the fact that soon everyone will be learning karate under my tutelage, and they're going to kick your ass if you don't straighten up. Make an effort. In Japan, more than anything, people appreciate when you make an effort to learn their language and basic cultural concepts and ideas. You don't have to be perfect. Even a little bit. Even a arigatou gozaimasu, whatever. You got to start somewhere. And learning the language is super important. That's a given. Don't come over and just expect that everyone speaks English and everyone should speak English. Japan needs to follow in the footsteps of like France a little bit more, where people give you attitude if you don't speak French. If you just come in with your English, hi, I'd like cheese fondue. The GAIJIN. If you have, people are nice here. They try. They try until they just don't want to try anymore, and then they put a sign outside that says "No foreigners accepted." I saw that on Twitter yesterday at some restaurant. Japanese only. This is like a sign on a restaurant. So, please put in the effort.
In the city I used to live, many people struggle with language barrier. While foreign residents might be frustrated, the people in Japan can't speak English enough, unlike a nation like Singapore, Korea, or any Western country.
There is a big language.
Okay, now, on the other side of this coin, I do have to say, the Japanese education system and the English teaching system has issues. The number one issue, we're going to get rid of katakana. We got to get rid of it. Get rid of katakana. It's terrible. It ruined Japan, the Japanese ability to learn and speak English. It ruins pronunciation. It creates all these new weird words that you think are English but are not. They don't. No one understands them outside of Japan. And it really hinders Japanese people's ability to speak English well. Get rid of katakana. Teach everybody karate. Problem solved. I'm serious, though. Katakana, and this is not me. I've heard many English teachers say this. including my my father, who's been an English teacher for, I don't know, 40 years or something. Katakana was the worst thing ever. So, oh shit, I skipped. Let's go towards the end here, and I'll wrap this up, see if there were any other foreign good comments. They pretty much said the same thing. A lot of it is overhype on the social media and then the news. So the problem seems much worse than it is. But in all these news stories, in all these media reports, one of the big things that no one touches on, that no one wants to talk about, is, well, there's two things. Japan and Japanese media has a problem talking about China. They have a problem talking about China and Chinese immigration and problems with Chinese people in Japan. And they have a problem talking about, for example, in Kawaguchi, an area in outside of Tokyo, you have a large Kurdish population. Now, I don't know if everyone was like refugees or asylum seekers or how this worked, but there are areas where you have groups of people. Okay, another one is in Aichi Prefecture. You have a lot of Brazilians who've come over and work in like car factories. So there are areas in Japan where the whole community is going to be like Kurdish or Brazilian, whatever, Portuguese, etc. And sometimes, and recently, this has become more and more of a problem. If you have a few foreigners scattered amongst Japanese communities, they can assimilate and you start to become more Japanese in your lifestyle. But when you're in a large group, like everyone on your block is Kurdish, and someone in that group, there's like one bad apple who was like a badass dude back home, and he brings that same attitude. He's like, fuck this shit, man. Screw this. Let's go and bust open that juice machine, steal the money. And suddenly you have crime, and then it's crime coming from a very tight-knit foreign community that sticks together in Japan. This is where the real problem is, and it's what no one on the news wants to talk about. But that's the main issue. That's what a lot of the politicians, Sanseito, Nihon Hosto, these other right-leaning parties, that's what they're talking about. They use general terms like foreigners and immigration and refugee. What they're talking about is the crime and the problems coming out of those communities. And the Japanese government is trying to bring in more and more. And maybe it's being forced on them by the globalists. I don't know. And that's where a lot of these problems are coming from. But when it gets on the news, it's like, oh, there were too many foreigners and they didn't put out the garbage right. And the story kind of changes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today's Power Lunch. 今日のパワーランチは、この日本のメディア、これちょっと1週間前ぐらい出た、ストーリーというか、この Gen Z、若者が外国人に対してどう思ってるかみたいな動画があったんで、ちょっとピックアップしました。まあ、メディア最近の伝え方、日本でこのジャパニーズファースト賛成党の言葉があったり、選挙の時に、日本はアンチ外国人的なムーブメント、そういうムードになってんじゃないかと、メディアでよく出てくるんで、今日1個これピックアップしました。これ結構わかりやすい代表的な、記事というか、そのストーリーだったんだけど、まあ、そこそこバランス良かったけど、やっぱりほとんどのメディア、一番の問題というか、日本で触れられないというか、報道はなかなかピックアップしないのは、例えば川口湖の、クルド系、こういう地方、こういうエリアで起きている問題。あと中国とか中国関係の問題。ほとんどこう触れないんですよね。なんか結局、すごくシンプルな、なんか外国人が、ゴミステーションの出し方わかんないから、やっぱり外人さんはもう日本に入れない方がいいんじゃないみたい くだらない問題をメインに出したり、あとソーシャルメディアが悪いと。実際外国人が悪いわけじゃなくて、ソーシャルメディアでそれがどんどん出て、それ言い過ぎてるから。ミスインフォメーションね、情報がちょっと多すぎて、そういうふうに感じるだけとか、こういうふうに結構報道がまとめられてるんだけど、今回のはね、割と若者、この Gen Z の意見を聞きながらのストーリーだったから、面白い。特にね、ソーシャルメディアに影響されやすいのは、確かにGen Z かもしれないんですけど、でもね、若者は、僕はね、鋭いと思う。このソーシャルメディアっていうのに浸って育っていくと、その本当のことと嘘の違いはわかるんですね。これはフェイクだ。これはフェイクニュースだったり、これは嘘だと。これやっぱりね、マーケティング、その宣伝、たくさん宣伝浴びながら育ってきた人と、昔そういうのあんまりなかった人の違いですね。もう最初からそういうの見てると、もういやいや、それだって宣伝でしょとか、嘘でしょってすぐね、なんか匂いで嗅ぎつける力あると思うから、そこはね、僕、Gen Z に結構信頼してる部分あるんだけど、オーバーツーリズムと、さっき言った、例えば、移民だったり、その一箇所にたくさん固まってる、例えばクルド系の人ばっかり住んでる地域がある。それと、ただ観光で来てる外国人のオーバーツーリズムの問題は、ちょっとね、ここは日本の中でね、もっとちゃんと分けて考えられるようになってほしい。ちょっと若者のコメントの中では、頭の中でこれ全部一つになってんだなっていうのはちょっと感じて、そこは少し心配ですね。と、最後、僕のこだわり。全員日本人はこれから空手、覚える。国のみんなを強くする。騙されねえぞ。変なことすんじゃねえよ。という国民にするのと、カタカナをやめる。日本人はね、外国人来て住んだらもちろん日本語を覚えるべきだと思うし、覚えた方がいいんだけど。でも日本人の英語のレベルも上げなきゃダメです。全世界で通用して成功するにはもう英語がないとまずいです。喋りたいとか喋んなくてもいいから理解だけでもできたら全然違うじゃない。それにはカタカナが邪魔。Get rid of カタカナ and learn karate. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today's Power Lunch. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back again tomorrow with another episode. And I'll see you tonight for America Today, where we talk about American and other global news stories. Thanks for watching. Do appreciate you. Please hit the like button, subscribe. You can become a member of the channel if you want to support for 190 yen a month. It's cheap. It's like buying me a bottle of Pocari Sweat once a month. I do appreciate that. Thank you, and I will see you later.